When the Galactic Council unveils its new biological threat assessment scanner, capable of ranking every known species by their predatory potential and survival capabilities, the results shock the assembled delegates. Thousands of civilizations are neatly categorized, from the docile herbivores at level 1 to the terrifying apex hunters at level 10. But when the scanner processes humanity for the first time, it displays something that should be impossible, a classification beyond all established parameters. What begins as a routine demonstration quickly spirals into a diplomatic nightmare as a single human security officer named Vesper Wilde becomes the focal point of an intergalactic crisis. The scanner's unprecedented response forces every species in the chamber to confront a terrifying question. What happens when you discover that the friendly, chattering primates you've been working alongside are something far more dangerous than anyone ever imagined? The Grand Assembly Hall of Kepler Station gleamed under artificial sunlight, its curved walls displaying live feeds from 300 member worlds. I stood at my station near the back, mandibles clicking softly in what my human colleagues had learned to recognize as nervous energy. My name is Torvin Kix, Senior Xenobiological Analyst for the Galactic Council, and I had spent the last 6 cycles preparing for this demonstration. Today we would unveil the biological APEX scanner. Ladies, gentlemen, and honored entities of all configurations. Chancellor Vryn began, her 4 eyes rotating independently to acknowledge different sections of the audience. What you are about to witness represents a breakthrough in threat assessment technology. I felt my carapace tingle. The scanner had taken 17 years to develop, combining quantum analysis with biological modeling so sophisticated it could predict a species' danger level based on evolutionary markers, physiological capabilities, and behavioral patterns. Every known civilization had been catalogued, ranked on a scale from 1 to 10. The Nuveri, those peaceful botanical beings? Level 2. The Frocthan warrior clans who'd terrorized the Outer Rim for centuries. Level 7. Even the legendary Ashkori, with their armored hides and electromagnetic pulse organs, barely scraped. Level 8. The scanner eliminates guesswork. Vryn continued, no more diplomatic incidents, because we misunderstood a species' capabilities. No more surprise attacks from civilizations we thought were harmless. Polite applause rippled through the chamber, though I noticed several delegates shifting uncomfortably. The Yarvok ambassador, a blob of semi-sentient protoplasm, quivered in what I'd learned meant disapproval. We shall begin with a demonstration, Vryn announced. Analyst Kix, please step forward. I scuttled to the scanner platform, my 6 legs carrying me with practiced efficiency. The device itself looked underwhelming, just a cylindrical column with blue light pulsing through its core. But the computational power inside could map a genome faster than most civilizations could file the paperwork. The light washed over me. Numbers flickered across the display. Species, Threxian. Classification level 4. Primary traits: enhanced problem solving, cooperative behavior, moderate physical capability, advanced tool use. I clicked my mandibles in satisfaction. Level 4 was respectable. We Threxians had built an empire on intellect, not brawn. Now, Wren said, gesturing to the Frocthan ambassador, someone more, shall we say. Martially inclined. Ambassador Kroll lumbered forward, all 3 meters of scaled muscle and barely concealed aggression. His species had conquered 40 systems before the Council had convinced them that diplomacy beat constant warfare. Barely convinced them, I should add. The scanner hummed. Species, Frocthan. Classification, level 7. Primary traits: extreme physical strength, redundant organ systems, pain immunity, territorial aggression, rapid healing. Kroll's chest plates flared with pride. Acceptable. We ran through a dozen more examples. The pattern held. Everything made sense. The universe was finally beautifully quantifiable. Then Vesper Wilde walked in. She'd been assigned to station security for the past 2 cycles, and honestly, I liked her. Humans were strange. Yes, with their single pair of eyes and bizarre insistence on consuming stimulants to achieve basic alertness, but they were friendly, chatty, even. Vesper had taught me about something called sarcasm, and had a habit of making observations that were simultaneously insulting and hilarious. "Sorry I'm late," she said, jogging up the aisle with that peculiar bipedal gait. Traffic was murder. Literally. Some Garvax got into a fender bender and started a blood feud in Corridor 9. Several delegates chittered nervously. Humans had that effect. They told jokes about things that should terrify them. "Ah, perfect timing," Vryn said. "We need a human subject." "Officer Wilde, would you mind?" Vesper shrugged, brown hair bouncing around her shoulders. "Sure, why not? Always wanted to know my threat level. I'm guessing what? Level 3. 4, if you count my coffee addiction." She stepped onto the platform. The scanner activated, and everything went absolutely, catastrophically wrong. The blue light turned white, then crimson, then flickered through colors I didn't have names for. The display screen erupted with data, numbers scrolling faster than any being could read. Warning klaxons blared. The scanner's column began vibrating, emitting a high-pitched whine that made my antennae ache. "What's happening?" Vryn demanded. I rushed to the control panel, my claws flying over the interface. "I don't know. The system's never done this before." "Is it broken?" Kroll growled. "No, it's working. It's working too well. It's processing too much information." Vesper stood in the beam looking mildly concerned. Should I be worried? Because that noise suggests I should be worried." The display screen finally stabilized. What appeared made my blood turn cold. Species, human. Classification, error. 1 classified apex. Warning, subject exceeds standard threat parameters. The chamber went silent. Vesper blinked. That's new. There must be a mistake, Chancellor Vryn said, but I heard uncertainty in her voice. "Run it again." I did. Same result. I ran it 5 more times. Every attempt produced identical readings, with one addition. Each scan added the word extreme in progressively larger text. "This is ridiculous," Ambassador Kroll said. "Humans are weak, soft, they die from a strong wind." "We really don't," Vesper interjected cheerfully. "That's a common misconception. We die from lots of things, but wind. We actually kind of like wind. Makes for good sailing weather." "The scanner must be malfunctioning," Vryn insisted. "I checked every diagnostic. It's not. According to the system, humans possess threat characteristics that transcend standard classification." "Like what?" someone called from the audience. I pulled up the detailed analysis, and my mandibles went slack. Endurance hunting capability, persistence, predation, instinct, throwing accuracy optimized for projectile weapons, binocular vision for depth perception during pursuit, sweat cooling system allowing continuous activity in extreme conditions, pattern recognition enabling technology development across any environment, social cooperation, allowing group tactics, omnivorous digestive system permitting survival on virtually any organic matter, minimal specialization, meaning maximum adaptability. The list continued, for 3 full minutes. When I finished, Vesper raised her hand. "Question, what's an apex predator?" "A species with no natural predators," I said quietly. "Top of the food chain." "Oh," she thought about that. "I mean, yeah, that tracks. We did kind of hunt everything else on our planet. In our defense, they were either delicious or trying to eat us first." "Your planet produced multiple apex species?" Someone gasped. "Well, sure. Sharks, bears, tigers, crocodiles, eagles." "Eagles are scary, by the way. Never look an eagle in the eye. They judge you." She paused. "Wait, do other planets not do that?" "No," half the chamber shouted. Vesper looked genuinely surprised. "Really? How do you develop proper survival instincts without a healthy fear of being eaten?" "We don't get eaten," a Nuvari delegate wailed. "That explains so much about your traffic patterns," Vesper muttered. Chancellor Vryn held up a tentacle for silence. "This is clearly some kind of error. Humans have been council members for 50 cycles. They serve on ships, work in administration, handle food service. They're not dangerous." Before anyone could respond, the scanner emitted one final alert.
Addendum.
Threat level increases exponentially when subject perceives danger to pack members or offspring. Recommend extreme caution. Vesper grinned. Yeah, don't mess with our kids. Or our pets. Seriously, humans will burn down entire civilizations over a dog. The implications settled over the room like a toxic cloud. I had worked alongside humans for cycles, eaten meals with them, shared jokes, and according to our most advanced threat assessment technology, they were more dangerous than anything we'd ever encountered. And they'd been here among us the entire time. The silence in the Grand Assembly Hall stretched like a dying star. 300 species, representing civilizations spanning galaxies, stared at the single human standing on the scanner platform. Vesper Wilde, for her part, seemed utterly unbothered by the existential crisis she'd triggered. So, she said, rocking back on her heels, is this a good time to mention that Earth is actually applying for expanded trade routes? Because based on the vibe in here, maybe we table that conversation. Chancellor Vrin's tentacles twitched spasmodically. I recognized the movement. It meant her three brains were arguing with each other. Officer Wilde, I need you to understand the gravity of this situation. The scanner is suggesting that humans are, biologically speaking, the most dangerous species in known space. Vesper's eyebrows rose. More dangerous than the Rakthin? No offense, Kroll. Ambassador Kroll's scales had gone pale, shifting from deep crimson to a sickly pink. None taken. I think the Rakthin are strong, I said, my voice translator barely managing to convey my anxiety. But the scanner doesn't just measure strength. It measures adaptability, learning capacity, survival instinct, and something it keeps flagging as persistence predation syndrome. Oh, that, Vesper said. Yeah. Humans used to hunt by just following animals until they collapsed from exhaustion. Could take days. We'd just keep walking after them, never stopping, never giving up. The prey would literally run itself to death trying to escape us. A collective shudder rippled through the chamber. That's horrifying, whispered Ambassador Tillix, a crystalline being who communicated through light refraction. That's lunch, Vesper corrected. Look, I get that this seems weird to you guys. But Earth was a rough neighborhood. We had to get creative. I pulled up another data stream, my claws trembling. The scanner has accessed the human medical database. According to this, your species can survive injuries that would kill most beings. Broken bones, you heal them. Lost blood, you make more. Toxins, your liver just processes them. Some toxins, Vesper clarified. We actually consume poison recreationally. It's called alcohol, makes social gatherings more tolerable. You drink poison for fun? Kroll asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Only on weekends, and Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays if the week's been long, she frowned. Actually, now that I list it out, that does sound concerning. Chancellor Vrin activated her personal communicator. I'm calling an emergency session of the Security Council. This revelation requires immediate discussion. Discussion about what? Vesper asked. Whether to kick us out? Because I should tell you we've got about 12,000 humans on various council stations right now. Some of them are pilots. Several are in law enforcement. At least 40 work in food service, and honestly those are the ones you really don't want to upset. Never anger someone who handles your meals. That tidbit of information sent another wave of panic through the delegates. Are you threatening us? Someone shouted from the back. Vesper looked genuinely hurt. What? No. I'm just saying that we're kind of integrated into everything now. You can't just unintegrate us. That's not how integration works. I checked my datapad scrolling through personnel files. She's right. Humans have been stationed throughout council space for 5 decades. They've married into other species, adopted children from 17 different worlds, started businesses, joined military units. How did we not notice? Tillix asked. How did we miss that we'd invited apex predators into our homes? Because we're nice apex predators? Vesper offered. Look, yeah, humans can be scary, but we're also really good at not being scary. We evolved pack bonding instincts. We adopt things. We befriend things. I once saw a human befriend a robot vacuum cleaner, named it Douglas. cried when it stopped working. Pack bonding. I repeated, accessing that section of the scan data. Oh no. Oh no, what? Vryn demanded. The scanner flagged human pack bonding as a level 9 threat multiplier. It says here that humans will extend protective instincts to any creature they perceive as part of their social group, regardless of species, origin, or even sentience level. I looked up from my pad. That means humans have been pack bonding with us. The implications crashed over the assembly like a tidal wave. Vesper's face brightened. Oh yeah, totally. I'm pack bonded with at least 6 Threxians, 3 Nuvari, and that Garvax in the cafeteria, who always gives me extra dessert. Love that guy. If anyone messed with him, I'd absolutely lose my mind. Define lose your mind, Kroll said carefully. You know, proportional response. Violence, legal action, maybe arson if the situation really called for it. Standard human stuff. Arson is not standard, half the room screamed. It is on Earth, Vesper countered. We have entire professional services dedicated to controlled burning. We call them firefighters, which I admit is linguistically confusing. I was frantically pulling up more data, and each file made things worse. According to Earth's historical records, humans have been the dominant species on their planet for only 200,000 years, but they've caused the extinction of, I paused, double-checking the number, countless other species, through hunting, competition and environmental modification. In our defense, Vesper said, we feel really bad about that now. We're trying to bring some of them back. We have whole science teams working on de-extinction. See? We learn from our mistakes. You learn to resurrect your prey? Ambassador Tillix's light patterns flickered with horror. I mean, when you phrase it like that, it sounds creepy. Chancellor Vryn's tentacles had knotted themselves into complex geometric patterns, a sure sign of deep distress. This is a disaster. The scanner was meant to identify threats, not reveal that we've been living alongside the greatest threat in the galaxy. Hey now, Vesper said, her tone sharpening slightly. I recognized that shift. Humans got dangerous when they felt their social group was threatened. We're not a threat to the Council. We're members of the Council. We've fought in your wars, helped colonize hostile worlds, shared our technology, our art, our terrible action movies that you all secretly love. Secretly? Kroll muttered. I own the entire Fast and Furious collection. See? We're family now. And humans don't turn on family. That's literally our whole thing. We're aggressively loyal to people we care about. I clicked my mandibles thoughtfully. She has a point. Human military units have the highest loyalty ratings in Council history. 0 recorded instances of desertion, even in losing battles. Because we don't leave people behind, Vesper said firmly. It's not in our programming. You're not programmed, Vryn said. You're organic. Figure of speech. The point is, yeah, humans are apparently terrifying murder machines according to your fancy scanner, but we're your terrifying murder machines. We've chosen to be here to work with you, to build something better than what we had on Earth. The room had gone quiet again, but this time the silence felt different, contemplative rather than panicked. Ambassador Kroll stood, his massive frame drawing every eye. I have fought humans in combat simulations. They are relentless, creative, and absolutely refuse to accept defeat. It's infuriating. He paused. But I have also fought beside humans, and there is no one I would rather have at my back in battle. They will die before they let you fall. That's the spirit, Vesper said, morbid, but accurate. Other delegates began speaking up. A Nuvari scientist talked about human researchers who'd spent years helping restore botanical diversity to ravaged worlds. A Yorvok merchant described human traders who'd stood up to pirates to protect smaller vessels, story after story, painting a picture of a species that was dangerous. Yes, but dangerous in defense of others. Chancellor Vryn finally untangled her tentacles. Officer Wilde, I believe we need to recalibrate our understanding of threat assessment. The scanner measured your species' capacity for violence, but it failed to measure your capacity for loyalty, compassion, and sacrifice. Well, Vesper said, That's because those things don't keep you alive in a hostile environment, but they do make life worth living, which is kind of the whole point. I made a note in my datapad. Recommendation: update scanner parameters to include cooperative behavior, ethical frameworks and cultural values. Threat capacity without context is meaningless. Seconded. Vryn said, and perhaps we should be grateful that humanity's apex status is coupled with their peculiar insistence on befriending everything they meet. Vesper grinned. Stick with us, Chancellor. We'll keep you safe from the actually scary stuff out there. What could possibly be scarier than humans? Tillix asked. Vesper's grin widened. You really don't want to know. Trust me on that. The galaxy's a big place, and Earth is just one planet. Somewhere out there might be something worse. The Assembly considered that cheerful nightmare fuel. On second thought, Kroll said slowly, perhaps having apex predators on our side isn't such a bad thing. Now you're getting it, Vesper said. Besides, we're already here. Might as well make the best of it. Who wants coffee? I'm buying. Fair warning though, human coffee might classify as a biological weapon, under Council regulations. As the Assembly dissolved into nervous laughter and cautious conversation, I watched Vesper bound down the aisle, already chatting with other delegates, making jokes, building bonds. The scanner had been right. Humans were apex predators, unclassified and terrifying, but they were our apex predators. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.